So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the first person who raises their hand. You were at least the first person I saw there. So.
Thank you. What do you think about the utility of .eth marketplace, the domain marketplace?
I'm going to repeat the question just so it gets caught in the video. So the question is on the utility of the .eth marketplace. And that's going to go to the first panelist who raises their hand. I think I saw Melvin first, so if you could use the mic, because they can't really hear in the back.
Yeah, I think any domain space or a place to, actually my partner from the Consensus Hackathon is here, and that was our, I guess you could call it like presentation, you know, thesis people, if you want to raise their hand. So we actually did email, like as a marketplace. And so you can only imagine if you have like a wallet address or something like that, that's really valuable. And over time, you know, companies switch names, you know, copyrights change, so on and so forth. That's really valuable, right? So that's my personal opinion, that I think we need more marketplaces like that. But if you really want to key into, you know, this whole segment, you really should read the Sweet Bridge Manifesto, where they start to talk about how economies are even more powerful than marketplaces. So, yeah, sorry, small plug there. I mean, you guys see why though, right? It's like, this is really phenomenal, so I'll pass it.
Was that a good answer?
Well, do you really see a use for it?
Is there a use for?
Yeah.
Like a utility use for .eth?
I'm sorry, for .eth as far as like it being like a
ENS.
domain that you land
the
at?
ENS domain system.
It's very powerful.
Yeah,
Read the Eastland white paper. Read the Eastland white paper. They explain why and how and why it's powerful.
Okay, question anarchy continues with this gentleman here who I noticed first.
Hi. Melanie, question for you. In that presentation, you mentioned potential blockchain applications outside of cryptocurrencies. But I think the fundamental thing for cryptocurrencies is that miners got a financial incentive, so they burn through the vast amount of resources and they got rewarded. But for example, in the case of like, I don't know, mortgage or passport, some non-financially related stuff, what the incentive would be? So who would care for it?
Well, I'll repeat and sort of frame the question here. I think that the question might be, what do you see as being the non-financial or non-ICO applications that are most interesting right now, or how do you reward people for
such non-financial, non-cryptocurrency applications?
Okay. How do you reward people for non-cryptocurrency applications?
To mine?
Good. What's the incentive other than coins? No.
Thank you. I think in the future we'll see a number of different chains by industry. So we'll have healthcare chains, supply chains, all kinds of different applications, and the consensus mechanism that corresponds to these different chains might be different. And so clearly in the case of money and assets, we need something with like the Bitcoin mining structure, which has a lot of resources and commitment, and the cryptographic nonce-guessing to have the security that we want with money. But other kinds of transactions, the consensus mechanism could be quite different. And so already in the Hyperledger fabric is one example where we see an alternative kind of consensus mechanism. Likewise, Factum, which does healthcare chains billing, uses the Bitcoin blockchain, but they have a side chains kind of mechanism. So they batch transactions and post them several times during the day, but not continuously. So already I think the side chains initiatives and the alternative methods of consensus algorithms will be what we see in different kinds of chains that develop across different industries. Thank you for the question.
Wulf, you seem to come down kind of hard
Hello,
on...
Adrian. How are you?
Good, good. You seem to come down hard on private chains. Would you care to kind of elaborate why and maybe talk about how zero-knowledge proofs might work into this and whether you think they are going to be a solution?
Did everyone hear the question? The question was about Wulf coming down on the idea of private blockchains, and how would Wulf reply to the idea of zero knowledge?
How did you think they fit in for public chains?
How does zero knowledge proof fit in for public chains?
Okay, so private chain. What's the what's the idea behind, the underlying original idea why most of us are in the room? Is that monopoly, or is it creating a infrastructure for a better tomorrow? I'm being very generous, cliche, I know, okay. But why are we here? Do we want to squeeze out every dollar that's possible, or are we here because we believe that we can participate in something that creates something that maybe makes us all a little bit better off? Well, I'm here because of the latter option. So for somebody to create a private chain, to me, that is useful to the extent that it supports crypto evolution, and it does. So 2 years ago, I was very hostile to all of it. I'm still a little bit, but so to the extent that a private chain, private blockchain, helps the technology implementation, I fully support that, except for people who are squeezing others out. So that to me is anti-crypto. That is, yeah, and I'll leave it there.
I have one thing. The private chains currently solve another problem that's important for us to think about, which is they're a place where you can do scaling today and privacy. And zero-knowledge proofs are an attempt to create some kinds of privacy. They won't create all the privacy needs that we need. So I agree with your assessment, and just wanted to underscore that there are some practical reasons why they're popular right now that are related to this, as Melanie talked about, the state of the technology not being mature enough yet. But as the technology matures, I think it'll become more and more obvious that you either are going to work in a public environment or you're going to be working in a private environment, and the primary drivers will be control.
So zero knowledge proofs, right? That's part of the question. And my view is that the zero knowledge proofs are very important whenever you want to restrict, whenever you want to enforce privacy and anonymity. But then if you have a private blockchain, then by definition, you know who you're dealing with. So then you can create a lot of layers of permissioning to allow each of the members of the private blockchain to interact with each other. So I believe zero knowledge proofs are a lot more important for public blockchains than they are for private ones.
Okay, and to allow us some time afterwards, I'm just going to take one more question. And yes.
So we're doing a utility token offering in US. So we're registered in US, and it would really be useful if you guys can look up BitLife and Trust or BitLife Insure. We've had to change the name. Look it up. Give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. We're going to do the offering on 25th September as of now. And yes, we've talked to many lawyers. We've even talked to SEC. And right. So we're going to do it. Please look it up and give us your feedback.
Okay, thanks. And question to you. Yes.
The question about infrastructure risk supports the public blockchains, where that's knowing that it's immature. Where do you see that going? How is the industry going to overcome that? By just developing new enhanced frameworks and have like guideline by Hyperledger, Fabrics, and others, and who's going to actually deploy these public blockchains? Who's going to be responsible for managing them? By default, for me, is if you go to a sector specific, that's a private chain in itself because it's geared toward one sector or another.
So
there's a couple of them.
I think, you mind if I did you want? Okay. So just the question is really about, the infrastructure of the public chain can't really handle things. Isn't that a valid reason for private chains, right? Yeah, well, I think that's true right now. I've been involved in technology my whole career, and I've been involved in very early stage technology my whole career. And I will tell you, I've never seen the pace of development and change anything like what we're seeing in this space. It is moving way faster than anything I've ever seen in my life. I'm personally aware of projects which are not announced, so not publicly out there yet, that are attacking some of these issues with public chains, and that look very promising. They're very early stage.
Right.
Whether they work or don't work, it doesn't matter. Whether some of the existing public chains, like Ethereum, address some of their problems, or not, there will be people that address the problem. The bigger issue, I think, and I think this is really the heart of the issue to the scalability problems, is governance. So mob rule turns out to not be a very good way to basically lead a technical revolution.
And governance is something that a lot of people, including myself, are working on very actively. Keyword distributed jurisdiction. Let me add that.
All right, thank you very much to all of our panelists. Thanks for coming.